Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 84.
Woo!
84 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
This podcast is brought to you by Jeffrey the Giraffe.
Yes. Why not?
So this giraffe is still sitting here from last podcast when, if you guys watched, Yulia came around the corner and drilled me with a giraffe. She also threw something else at me that is conveniently not here right now. I don't know. She hit me twice, and people watching it were like, what the heck?
Why not?
At least she didn't hit the equipment.
Yeah, that's very true.
If she would have drilled the camera, drilled the microphones, that would have been like hundreds of dollars down the drain. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, we got a show for you today. Technically, this would be our Halloween spectacular, but we're not actually doing anything for Halloween. So I'm sorry, guys. I feel bad because Halloween's like my favorite holiday. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously, Halloween is. You get to dress up. Some of you guys might be dressing up as Nintendo characters or something. I've dressed up as Link for a couple years. I like it. I have a full Link costume. Don't actually know where it is, though. I know where the hat is. I don't know where the rest of it is.
Yeah, your hat's right here on the floor.
Yeah. And I can't wear it because green screen. But, yeah, it's fun times. And before... so we're not doing anything special for Halloween. I'm sorry. I feel terrible. I think I might just screw with people's heads, and our Christmas special will be a Halloween special. Thing is, can I find pumpkins then? I can find fake pumpkins.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, we'll dress up for Christmas.
Well, we'll just do department stores in reverse. Because they have all the Christmas stuff out now before Halloween.
Sure.
And we'll just do Halloween for Christmas.
I mean, well,
why not?
I mean, if Christmas is like the last holiday of the year, won't like the first one, and is I guess New Year's is too close to Christmas. Valentine's Day.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
do we start a podcast with us on a date?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, anyways, we before we get into our topics, we have 4 awesome topics for you this week. I do want to mention Martin. He is our current video editor for the Nintendo Prime Podcast. He's been doing it now for like a year. He volunteered out of nowhere. I didn't even specifically ask for video editors. He just saw, I think it was on Twitter, something I said. I wasn't really complaining. I was just saying. I think I was just getting things off my chest. Just being like, man, these podcasts take me all weekend to edit. And I was trying to spend more time on the weekend with my family at the time. Lo and behold, here I am a year later, and I'm still not spending that much time with everyone on the weekend. Yulia's working now, and she works like every other weekend, so that's part of it. Melody's gone every other weekend with her biological dad, blah, blah, blah. So it's not as ideal as I'd like it to be on weekends, but I do technically can do what I want on weekends. Sometimes I work, sometimes I don't. Last weekend, or it was the weekend before, I didn't work, and my channel tanked. And it tanked hard. Now, I'm not just talking about obviously tanking in viewership, the 2 days I didn't upload videos. Of course. Mm-hmm. Like, that's expected. I didn't upload or anything. Yeah. But when I came back, it took me like a week before my videos started getting over 1,000 views again. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Can't take a break on YouTube.
No.
The YouTube's algorithm literally punishes you when you take a break.
That's ridiculous.
That's like insane. That shouldn't even be a thing. That should not even be a thing.
That's just crazy.
Anyways, so thanks, Martin, for everything you do.
Yes, thank you.
Because he will be stepping away. I'm not sure exactly when. We haven't pinpointed what will be probably his final episode. Because I basically told him, because it was him. He requested not requested to leave the podcast, but he's got other stuff going on in his life. Maybe in his final edited podcast, we can go more into it. I'll have to talk to him about what I'm allowed to say, because it's a personal matter. But I do just want to note now, Martin, in case emergency comes up, and this is literally the last one you edit, thank you for everything you've done for me the past year. The time you have saved me on not having to edit the podcast is just... I can't thank you enough. I literally cannot thank you enough. And I think the even crazier part is technically the podcast, at least visual-wise, will look higher quality once I start editing it, because I'll have the live stream with the camera, but I'll actually record with my other camera. So we'll actually have the high-quality video feed for it, because the reason I haven't been doing that is, one, I don't have the right equipment to hook it up to live stream it. 2, the reason it was really hard to just do that local recording here, like, oh, you're recording your podcast in 4K, isn't that sweet? Yeah, except when I got to transfer the files to Martin.
Yeah, yeah.
Since I don't have to transfer the files, I can obviously use 4K footage which gives me, I don't know if I'm going to render it in 4K. I might just render it because I got to zoom in and do different things. I don't know. It might look even better. I won't know till I do it. But I just want to say thank you, Martin, for freeing up my weekends to allow me to create other content, spend more time with my family. And you're awesome. And man, oh man, oh man, do I wish Nintendo Prime was big enough that I could just hire you on and just call it a day, man. That would be sick. Unfortunately, I can't. And I think this is also for me to know anyone out there that's like, oh, I'll edit it for you, or this. I'm not looking for any more video editors. I think at this point, I have decided that I will not be looking to hire anyone, whether it's to write up my website, whether it's to help me with scripting and ideas, whether it is for video editing. Obviously, if you're a mod, that's just like a free little perk. But because if I can't afford to offer monetary compensation, aka hire you on even part-time, I really shouldn't be asking you to work here. And I think this is just me moving, like, Martin, this isn't on you, this is me just moving beyond the threshold of relying on volunteer employees. And Martin, you get your first edit as I have to answer the phone live on the podcast. So I'm crossing the threshold of using volunteers. I don't know how many of you guys know this. For like a decade plus, and some other sites I worked at, relied a lot on volunteer employees helping me out. It was basically I would run the joint, and I would do a lot of the work, not all of it, but a lot of it, and then I would fill in when I wasn't there with volunteers. And volunteers are nice, and honestly, if you're trying to become a journalist, which good luck if you want to become a video game journalist, like an actual journalist that just writes. It's kind of sort of, I don't know if it's becoming extinct, but it's not as prevalent as it was when I was coming up. But you have to have 2 to 3 years experience like you do in every career, and the only way you're going to get 2 to 3 years experience is to volunteer. Mm-hmm. But I'm past the point where I'm willing to rely on volunteers. One, I've probably sifted through thousands of staff members because volunteers are just unreliable. And why are they unreliable? Because they're not paid. It's not their job. They're just doing it for fun. They're doing it on the side. Mm-hmm. Like I'll hire someone. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll edit your videos every weekend," and then you'll get a random email where they won't edit it, or you'll send your stuff to them. And then this isn't I'm Martin. This is just trying to take an example of trying to rely on what I've done in the past and have it not work out. Or like, I'll send them send the editor the stuff, and then they just don't edit it, and I don't know until the time that it's supposed to come out that it's not been edited. So I don't have any time to make up the time slot for editing. So I'm at the point where I'm just going to do it all myself. Does it mean I'm biting off more than I can chew? Probably. Does it mean that extra videos on the weekends might be kind of scarce? Probably. I think the extra videos on the weekends will probably just be like the video I did earlier today. Voiceover gameplay. It's going to be kind of lazily put together, but it won't be a lazy topic. I promise the content of what I am saying will be good. But the actual video part of it's going to be kind of a, hey, I can't do it because I have to edit the podcast. So I can't be on camera. I can't do fancy edits. Don't have the time. That being said, thank you, Martin, so much for enabling me not to have to do that for the past year. I think it was like one podcast in there where Martin couldn't do it, so I had to do it. That being said, besides the E3 podcast, but that was just I wanted to get it out ASAP. Let's just get into the topic, I guess. Well, before I should do that, because we forgot to do this last week, I'm Nathaniel Rumpel-Jantz.
We did.
From Nintendo Prime. I'm the host with the most giraffes in a podcast. Actually, that's probably not true. There's probably a giraffe podcast that has more giraffes in the podcast than mine.
Oh my God, we need to start one.
There's probably a herd of giraffes going on in the green screen.
If there's not, we need to start one.
Start a giraffe podcast.
We need to start a giraffe podcast.
And I am joined, as always, by Mr. Eric Moore.
Hello.
And we, together, essentially make up Nintendo Prime.
Yeah.
Like, long before we were a daily YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This was it. What we are doing right now is the beginning of where I am now. That being said, let's get into the topics. First off, we had a Super Smash Bros. Leak. Maybe. Possible. Rumored to be. Because we can't confirm or deny because it's not from an official thing.
Yeah.
I know all about this leak. Do you?
I watched your video on it. Surprisingly.
Okay. Now, obviously, I need to warn anyone who's listening or watching that, hey, spoilers ahead if this is true.
Yes.
We are going to be spoiling characters that might be in the game. So on the final version of this, I'll try to put a timestamp for you to skip past this first section if you do not want to be spoiled. So the thing is, what happened is there was this guy. I don't want to put his name out there too much. I know in one of my videos his name accidentally appeared on the screen. But there's this guy that supposedly Snapchatted something from his work to some friends, and his friends took it and put it on 4chan, and then put it on the Discord server, and that's how it got spread all over the internet. And it was basically advertising or marketing materials for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was a wristband, and then some marketing material it looked like for the Grinch, the new Grinch movie coming out. And the guy has been contacted by some people and has denied that he leaked anything. Of course, if you leak something and you're caught, you're probably going to deny to try to keep your job. The thing was, the original media company that he was associated with on his LinkedIn profile just turned out his profile wasn't updated. He no longer works there. And that company was one that had previous relations with Bandai Namco. However, the guy does work at another media company, and it might even be more appropriate that he does, because Nintendo would probably handle most of the marketing for Smash Bros. And they would use their own, like Nintendo doesn't have like internal companies for this. They do hire out. So if that company works with Bandai Namco, this new companies that might actually work with Nintendo could add even more credence to it, if we're being honest. That being said, there's been almost no real evidence that it's fake. People have tried to dissect it. I think Game Explain put out there that they don't believe it because the image is blurry, and generally when you get a blurry cell phone image, that's usually it's fake. But the totality of the image isn't actually blurry. It's just the wristband is so small in the image that to make out details, you have to blow it up again so it looks blurry. So I think that's an interesting point. But I don't know how relevant it is in that case. There's also other people tried to argue like someone like a cloud might look slightly different, but it's so, again, blurry that who really knows definitively. It kind of feels like you're kind of stretching because we don't know what it looks like in high quality. But basically the characters got leaked through the wristband because the wristband featured a newer version of the art. So everybody is here art. That we saw at E3. Well, they've been every time they've announced new characters, they've added them and expanded the art. And so this looked like a final version because there were 7 new characters, which made a whole lot of sense because 2 of them looked like they were Echo characters, Echo fighters, and then it looked like 5 new characters, which, oh my gosh. Hey, I'm literally working right now. The kids are not with me.
You're with Yulia?
Yeah. Seriously, you're like the 20th person to call. People do not respect the job. See, this is the joy you get with our $10 backing tier live that is cut out of the final version. Oh, boy. That was my sister calling. She wants to see the kids. Don't have them.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't know.
Well, how come nobody ever calls Yulia to see the kids? Ever. Ever. She never gets called. Everyone always calls me to see them. Like, I don't always have them.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't ask me.
And at this time, they would be naked in a bathtub, and I ain't going to show them anyways.
No, there's that.
Because it'd be bath time if they were home, but it is a weekend, so then they'll probably be up a little later.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, the 7 characters look interesting. The 5 new ones, because we haven't gone over them yet, but the 5 new ones, some further proof that kind of lend credence to it, is that there's been confirmed there's 108 stages. We only know about 103 of them. 5 new characters would equal 5 new stages. So, again, the evidence is what it is. We can't confirm or deny it. There hasn't been any definitive proof it's fake. There hasn't been any definitive proof it's real. It's just it's there, and no one really knows what to do with the information. The list itself now, this is crazy. I mean, I already know what we're going to focus on because I can't help it.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, guys, this list, if it's not true, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, right.
Unless the one character on the list that I really want to be there is still actually in the game.
You're right.
But I will note the only reason I have a little more trepidation now than when I originally reported is because Liam Robertson and a few other people that are known leakers have come out and said they've seen material that didn't match up with this. So they won't tell us what doesn't match up, but they're basically saying, we don't think it's real, but it might be. What we have seen doesn't line up, but it doesn't mean, it's like, it's not a 100%. This isn't real, but it's kind of like
it's-
what we saw wasn't the same as this. Doesn't mean this can't be a thing.
Right.
What we saw might not have been complete either.
Right,
kind of thing.
right.
So
yeah, they might have saw something that this was literally brand new.
and there could be
And
like a
this one-
character they know
yeah.
about that isn't in this art, but this art also might not be the final art. So it's whatever. So first up, we have Isaac from Golden Sun. Haven't seen Golden Sun, I think, since the DS. So bring it back. Come on.
Yeah, well,
Chorus Kids from Rhythm Heaven.
interesting.
The thing is, they were actually rumored that they were going to be in the Wii U and 3DS one.
Okay.
But obviously, that was a rumor that wasn't true because it didn't happen.
There's that.
Maybe it didn't happen because of the DS. Just like we didn't get Ice Climbers on the Wii U because, they can't fit in the DS version. Like, okay, but there's exclusive content on DS. Have exclusive content on Wii U. Anyways.
It's Nintendo.
They have Geno. Oh, Geno from Super Mario RPG. Mock Rider. Interesting because Sakurai posted on Twitter like he put up a picture of like a mech toy he bought recently, and he said this mech toy is kind of related to something I'm working on. Well, what's he working? He's working on Smash Bros. So it's like the only other thing is like, well, Mock Rider and the mech don't look exactly the same. I kept thinking, well, there is Daemon X Machina coming out. Did he just rip a mech out of there and throw it in the game, even though the game's not here yet?
Yeah,
Is he so excited for Daemon X Machina that he's like, yeah, I put a mech.
Yeah.
In a game you can't even play yet, I put a mech in. Anyways.
Yeah. Wait, what?
That's why some people are drawing the mock Rider comparisons.
yeah.
Maybe being legit. Ken from Street Fighter.
There
A
you
lot
go.
of people think this will just be an echo of
Yeah.
Ryu, who's
Right,
already
right,
in.
yeah.
Who's already in the game.
Which would make a lot of sense.
Obviously, we have Shadow the Hedgehog from Sonic.
Yeah.
Been in a handful of games. I don't even know if it's been a handful. A few games. There was the game where he wielded guns that wasn't that well received. And then the other games, it was just okay. A lot of people think that'll just be kind of like an echo of Sonic the Hedgehog, which would make sense. A little disappointed they didn't do something more unique. Like I don't think Tails is in the game, so like Tails to me would have been a more obvious addition.
Because
but then again, if you're
is
an Echo Fighter, Tails might have its own moveset.
yeah, true.
So, anyways, that's what I would have done. Anyways, if I had a choice.
Yeah.
That being said, we say the best for last,
yeah.
and that is Banjo and Kazooie from Banjo and Kazooie.
Oh yeah.
Guys, we've been wanting Banjo Kazooie. Like, I think the whole reason that I've been on Team Real this whole time is I want to believe.
I want to believe. Please be real.
I want to believe. Like, Phil Spencer has said he wants Banjo Kazooie in the game. Nintendo's never publicly commented on it. They've never partnered with another first-party company to get IP rights. It's always just been third-party companies or internal Nintendo studios. So I don't think it's happening because I don't think Nintendo wants to pay whatever royalty Microsoft would want. I mean, and it's like, what about those like getting Ken in there is a lot easier to do than getting the rights to Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
But then again, of course, you don't want it coming out that like the reason it's not happening is because Microsoft wants too much money. So Phil Spencer might just be willing to let them do it to let them do it.
Yeah.
It would make sense. I kept thinking, you know why this inclusion might make sense? The only logical thing I could think of, besides just Microsoft just telling Nintendo take it for free, because it's part of your legacy too, would be the N64 Classic that's rumored to be coming out probably next year at this point. I wonder if they worked something out with Microsoft to get Banjo-Kazooie on the Classic, and so thus putting them in Smash Bros. Actually works because there's going to be a Classic system coming out with the game.
Yeah. Well, and another thing I could think of is, again, this is total like pie in the sky, would be Microsoft would just say, yeah, go ahead and use it for free, and then shoehorn that into a brand new Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yeah, no.
I told you it's pie in the sky.
Yeah, that's pie. Okay, they might allow Banjo-Kazooie to be in Smash. They might allow the Banjo-Kazooie N64 version to come out on the N64 Classic because they would probably get a royalty fee per system sold for that. Whatever, $1 or $2. Who knows? It might be $100 system. Maybe they split it up per game, so they end up getting like $5 or $10. Yeah. But hey, make another one.
Hey.
I don't trust Microsoft to do it. I don't trust Microsoft to do it, and they're not going to let Nintendo do it.
I'm just going to say, it could happen.
I'm surprised the team making Super Lucky, that made Super Lucky's Tale, isn't making a Banjo-Kazooie. And by the way, Super Lucky's Tale, I know some people don't like it. Some people don't like Yooka-Laylee. I think they're both good games, just not great. But I can tell you this: Super Lucky's Tale is better than whatever the hell the last Banjo-Kazooie game was.
No, nuts and bolts.
Like
that's not even a Banjo-Kazooie game. That's not. It's not.
It's part of the series. It's part
Whoever
of the series.
decided that should have been part of the series should
I'm
be
just saying,
slapped.
it's part of the series. And Super's Lucky Tale is way better than that. So that's what I'm like, hey, you know what? If it's just an okay Banjo-Kazooie game, that's way the hell better than not having one.
Yes, but it
Anyways.
is a possibility. However,
I mean, I'm sure they could reach out to Playtonic that made their ripoff basically, and be like, hey, you actually want to make Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, right.
But
right.
we have some of the former employees, and you used to work for us, and we're not looking to buy you out right now.
Right now.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure they jump at the chance at it. Maybe, I don't know. Some of them worked at Rare.
Yeah.
Well, Microsoft owned them, so it's like maybe they just don't want to work with Microsoft again. But
yeah,
because I don't know. Maybe they're afraid that Microsoft won't give them the creative freedom. I don't know why they want. At this point, the IP has been ran into the ground, so I don't.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, it's just like Conker. Teasing us with Conker, and then Conker appears in a game. By the way, the game he appeared in was absolutely fantastic on Xbox. I don't know why it's no longer around. It was such a good game. You could create like your own levels and stages. And, I'm already forgetting the name of it because they only lasted like a year before they took it offline. Man, Microsoft had some good stuff going at the beginning of this generation. Besides packing Kinect in and trying to do always online DRM for some reason, and then backtracking and say, actually, we never planned on it. Actually, having 17 different execs tell us something different.
Yeah, right.
So overall, this list, obviously, Banjo-Kazooie bias is big.
Oh yeah.
What are you thinking? I mean, set Banjo-Kazooie aside, because any list for Smash Bros. That includes Banjo-Kazooie automatically wins.
Yeah.
The only way it's better is if Conker's on there too.
Yeah, that might beat it out just by a slight edge.
A slight, I don't like if it's Banjo and Conker, nothing beats it.
Oh no.
If it's Banjo or Conker, that's where I'm torn.
Oh, right.
That's where I'm torn.
No,
I'm like Banjo-Kazooie is probably the bigger name, but
Conker might
especially
beat it out.
Especially if they let him pee on people.
It might be just a little bit higher on my edge.
And it might be and Conker might be a little too edgy for it. I don't know.
Maybe
having him walk around drunk on stage.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it fits right in here with Nintendo Prime.
It does.
But I don't know what Smash Bros. I mean, Smash Bros. Does usually get the T for teen rating, so I guess it could fit in there.
Yeah.
Although teens aren't supposed to drink. Like,
Yeah.
He doesn't have to show him actually drinking a beer. Although he does. I don't know. It's an M-rated game, so I don't know.
I don't know.
If we can put Snake from Metal Gear Solid in, they can find. Oh, then again, he's not drunk, so I don't know. But they flattened his butt, so everyone's mad.
Oh, how dare you!
How dare you flatten?
How dare you flatten Snake's butt?
How dare you?
Yeah.
So list. What are you thinking?
I
honestly, do you even recognize any of them besides Banjo-Kazooie?
No, I know most of these.
Okay.
I mean, Isaac, and just because I haven't played Golden Sun doesn't mean I don't know.
Isaac back in the Golden Sun's heyday,
Yeah.
You saw him everywhere. He's in magazines.
Yeah, right. Which is cool. It's awesome. Even though I don't play Golden Sun, that's awesome that if it gets brought over. Would he be the first Golden Sun character then?
Yeah, Golden Sun's never been represented.
So that's just fantastic.
Oh,
I like that idea.
And there, to further the Isaac hype, there was a story that came out that at some event there was like an image. Taken at this Super Smash Bros. Event, this public event, and like in the corner, it looked like there was like this new item, and the new item, it's of course again you had to blow it up to tell what it is. Super blurry, could be anything, but it looks like a leaf in a bubble. But to me, I don't know what that means. And more Animal Crossing,
Animal Crossing, yeah.
But apparently the item, the shape of it looks very similar to an item from the Golden Sun series, which would suggest that there's Golden Sun inclusions in the game. And if there's Golden Sun inclusions, Isaac's probably in the game because he's the main character.
Well, yeah. Oh, boy.
But it could also just be an assist trophy, and they're just throwing the items in for a homage.
They're just going to randomly not choose the main character from the...
No, they're just put the items in.
Yeah.
And he won't even make an assist trophy. Anyways. Okay, what else? What else do you recognize on the list?
Well, I mean, Street Fighter Ken's been around.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Ken and Ryo, that's Street Fighter in a nutshell.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Gino, I like Super Mario RPG.
Gino!
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's... Yeah, this list, I mean, nothing wrong with it at all. I would agree with every one of these being added. I mean, granted, I haven't played Rhythm Heaven, I haven't seen Rhythm Heaven, so I'm not quite
you're
sure
like Chorus
exactly
Kids.
Chorus Kids. Sure, why not?
Alrighty then.
Sure, why not?
I mean, I think it's an excellent list.
Yeah.
I'm not someone that... I'm on record on our Smash podcast, which I guess maybe I can toss a link down in the description for that. Maybe I'll even link the website.
Whoa.
Yeah, the Smash cast when we had OJ, She Says, Darren.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Darren was alive back then. Still alive, but I mean on the podcast.
Right, alive in the Nintendo Prime world. Anyways.
Like went on record saying I think there's too many characters in Smash. So imagine my surprise at E3 when they're like everyone is here, and I'm like, oh no,
oh no. But
I'm just like it's not. Well, I mean,
oh no, but.
My thing is like, well, if they don't add any new characters, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, right.
And all of you guys out there right now, what do you mean if they don't add new characters, you're cool? Like, there's too many characters in Smash Bros.
Yeah,
there is. Like, you cannot, unless you are a professional Smash Bros. Player, and I mean hardcore professional, not someone that like grabs their three mains or whatever, and just gets super hardcore good at them. But somebody who actually plays it hardcore to the point you try to master each character, because that's how I used to play Smash Bros. There's too many characters for me to do that. And I'm not going to get big into the competitive scene and dedicate thousands of hours of my life to do it. So there's just too many characters for me to enjoy Smash the way I used to. Yeah. So now I have to find other reasons to enjoy it. And Banjo-Kazooie would do it.
Yes, it would.
Just I want to see Banjo-Kazooie in true HD.
Yeah, no, I was with you on that one on the too many characters.
But I mean, my thing was when they said everyone is here, I'm like, that's the one excuse I will give them to have that big of a roster.
Right.
I can't argue with a game called Ultimate that has every character that's ever appeared. Exactly. Obviously. But that's like, but you know they're adding more.
Yeah.
And do I want more? I don't know.
But
like at this point, well, here's the thing. At this point, it's like there's so many characters that they could add another 30, and I probably won't even notice the difference at this point. There's so many. And they did make it. They did make it so you could simplify the roster menu if you want.
Yeah, right.
You can make all the echo characters just be like sub characters of the main character on the actual selection screen. So they did find a way to condense the menu screen if you wanted to. But it's like honestly, there's so many at this point. Sakurai, delay Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to the dismay of everyone, especially that guy that spent $1,000 on a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate system on eBay.
Why?
That doesn't even give you the game early, so what's the point? Anyways, so yeah, that's a thing that happened.
I know, yeah.
That's the thing that happened this past week.
Yeah.
$1,000 on a system they'll probably still get the same day that the normal system comes out. When it's not, if it was a system, it's like a collector. If it was a system that was sold out, I get it, but it's not sold out. You can still just buy it right now, regular price. By the way, we're giving away one of those. Glean.io link down in the description. Free to enter. Just got to be subscribed to the channel. Got to get that shout out in. But oh man. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
There's too much.
Yeah. 108 stages?
I know.
How do you shuffle through that?
Wait, but here's the thing. It's 108 stages, but it's not every stage that's ever been in Smash Bros., right? It's a lot of them, but it's not every stage that's ever been in. So my thing is it really the ultimate Smash Bros. If it doesn't have everything? I want every mode. I want every stage. I want every item. I want every setting. I want settings to set items to specific genres. Like you want just items from the OG Smash, you can do it. In fact, I want the settings to be so robust you can actually set the settings on how the game plays, from tripping to everything else to the genre and the era of it came out. You want N64 graphics? You can do it.
Oh, good lord.
In HD, of course. Of course.
Obviously.
Up-res, come on.
Obviously.
You could set it so the game runs at the speed it did back then and the frame rate it ran back then. You like Melee? Guess what? You could set all these default settings to be the speed of Melee. You like it to be like last generation and set it to that. You want it to be whatever they're doing this time around, then it could be that.
That
to me would be ultimate, because then you're just saying, play this game any way you want, any kind of Smash you ever liked, whatever your favorite generation is. Now you have all the characters for that generation. Set it to that. You can restrict the characters when you're in those modes down to just that generation if you want.
And then you have different online lobbies that have your different eras.
And here's the thing. To do this is going to require another 2 to 3 years of development.
And
that's why I said you have to delay it. But if you want the ultimate edition of the game, you got to give me everything.
Yeah.
You gave me all the characters, but I want everything. I want more.
Boy.
Here's my thing. If you're gonna do this, let's go all out.
Yeah, because I was wondering how online would work, but you'd almost have different.
There were tournaments on the past, so that would be back.
Yeah.
There were single player modes. That'll be back. Multiple of them.
Yeah.
Break the Targets will be back.
Yes.
We'll break the Targets.
Board the platforms.
Board the platforms.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But again, we're getting some of this stuff. We're not getting all of it.
Right.
This was the only way I could accept the characters. Adding 7 more at this point, I can't even complain.
Yeah.
As I said, add 30. I'm not even gonna notice anymore. There's so many characters. The portraits are so small. Even on the 55-inch 4K TV. Granted, it's upscaling the Switch, but the portraits are going to be so small. I'm not even going to recognize 90% of the characters anymore anyways.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, well, there's Mario. Oh, there's Link. It would be cool if they would let you custom order the characters. That would be kind of neat. But again, adds more development time. Blah, blah, blah. So you win some, you lose some. All I hope is that this Smash Bros. Ends up being my favorite one in the series. I'm always going to be like, oh, there's too many characters, but
it is what hey, Banjo-Kazooie's here. That's all.
And the thing is, they're going to make like eight additional characters and sell you to each for like $8 to $10 each. Oh, because of course they're going to want that extra $100. So plus the extra stages for $2 to $3.
Yeah, it did.
They got to piecemeal it because all fighting games do it. Ergo, it's okay for Smash to do it. 2 wrongs don't make it right.
Right.
You can just DLC pack it for $20 and call it good.
But 3 less do.
But anyways, oh boy, we're technically directly on topic.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I just went on a diatribe and we stayed on topic the whole time.
Right?
What is this? A Nintendo podcast?
Wait, what?
I'm not telling a story of my life?
Yeah, wait, what?
Anyways. So, obviously, this is the game that I think is probably most hyped for a lot of Nintendo fans this holiday. Where are you at right now? Like, forget the rumors, right?
Yeah.
Rumor, leak, whatever. Where are you sitting at with Smash Bros. Right now? Because I just know this. You're someone who's, like, always bought Smash Bros. It's been that game that you've always picked up.
Well, when I've had the console.
When you've had the system. Like, you got the 3DS version. Excited?
Yeah.
It's not something where it's like Pokemon. I'm holding you to getting Pokemon because we said we would.
Oh, right.
But it's like, I've never asked you to get Smash Bros. You just buy Smash Bros.
But then again, it being with Pokemon, it being a copy of...
Well, it helps that we played it, too.
Yeah.
See, when you go hands-on, it's like, yeah. See, my thing is, I talked about before, like, Starlink, made me feel like Breath of the Wild. I kept thinking, I'm like, it must have just been me.
Yeah.
I think it's just me. I'm thinking the only person that thinks that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. I know you don't think that because you would have picked it up. You would have been like day one. If you had the Breath of the Wild feeling, I mean, you bought the Switch for Breath of the Wild. Yeah. So, like, if it was the Breath of the Wild feeling, Starlink would have been in your collection day one.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So
I'm just trying to find money right now, too. So
that's the story of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised I got this.
Yeah.
I think I paid for this with pennies. To be completely honest.
There you go.
Got to count those pennies. Hey, money's money.
It is.
Just like when we get like 10 cents or... Oh, no, what was it the other day? During the live stream over on Twitch, this one person gave like $2 and like 20 cents in bits, and each bit's a penny. Yeah. So they did $1 was in like, what was 100, 100 bits it was. The rest were just 1 bit at a time, one. And the stream for like 2 straight hours was just pop-ups of 1 bit, 1 bit. And I was even getting annoyed. I'm like, oh my God, this is so... I mean, what am I supposed to say? Don't give me your pennies?
Yeah, right.
But imagine that, like, it would be like you're on the street, right? Yeah. And you're trying to raise money for something. Hey, I'm one of those, I'm ringing one of those bells at Christmas, and some person just stands back with a handful of pennies and just one at a time. You can't just put it all in at once. You got to toss it one at a time.
I actually want to do that now.
Oh, my God.
I actually kind of want to do that now.
Oh, anyways.
$5 worth of pennies.
Smash Fight.
Yes.
Where are you at?
No, I'm more likely getting it. It was a lot of fun when I played it, so. And that always helps.
I know, and you got to play the new characters that I didn't get to play.
I did.
I could have. No, if I knew I was going to get rocked that bad, I would have just... I was on the competitive side. I was trying to win. So I went with characters I knew how to play.
Well, we could have gone back
into
the lines.
I didn't know the line was moving that fast till like the last day, and then I was like, well, I got other stuff to play.
Yeah. There's that.
All right. Let's see here. Looking at the list. Oh, yeah. I don't think we're going to be talking about this next one very long. But
no, probably not.
I just think it's kind of funny.
It is funny.
So, GameStop, right? I actually frequently shop at GameStop. It's the only store I have that's close to me that's a gaming-specific store. There's one off in Eau Claire, but if I don't want to go to Eau Claire, GameStop's there. Plus, I take advantage of a lot of their trade-in bonuses. and they have a new trade-in bonus.
Right.
So, right now, I think until like Black Friday or something, you can trade in a Nintendo Switch for $200. Now, you might be thinking, well, if it's $200 cash, that's not too bad, right? Like, usually their best trade-in values are for in-store credit.
Right.
$200 cash, like if you want to, if you want to
terrible.
dump your Switch before the holidays so they can resell it used, I guess if you're done with your Switch, that's. I mean, you're not going to get much more value for it than that on eBay, you know, for a used Switch. So fine, right? $200 doesn't sound too bad. But it's not that they give you $200 cash. Oh no. They give you $200 in-store credit, which again, we're going to talk about. That makes sense, I guess, for GameStop.
Okay.
In-store credit towards buying a new Nintendo Switch. Yeah. So, you're looking for a new Switch? You want a newer model for some reason that has no differences? Trade it in to spend $100 to get another one. Now, the idea, at least the way they're trying to market it, they marketed it with the Diablo 3 bundle coming out. But most people assume it'll work with normal Switches if for some ungodly reason you just want to lose money and buy another Switch.
Yeah.
But they think it'll work with Pokemon Let's Go Peach, Let's Go Eevee, and the Smash bundle. Well, I don't think GameStop has the Smash bundle if I remember right. But anyways, any of the bundles they think it'll work with. And the idea is obviously that GameStop wants your used Switch because they know they're going to turn around and be able to resell it this holiday.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so they want that Switch because they're going to sell it for $280 and pretty much get it guaranteed because Switches will probably, around the holidays, all the systems kind of run out of stock. Mm-hmm. And in addition, you spend, an extra $160 to get the new Switch plus get the game that comes with it. Mm-hmm. It ends up just being kind of sort of a win-win for everyone except for the consumer that could have just not bought the new Switch and just bought the game for $60.
Yeah.
And if you really want that customized Switch, I'm sure there's someone out there that probably shouldn't be doing it but is selling skins you can put in your Switch that are the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I could probably buy a skin for my Switch right now that'll look like the Super Smash Bros. Switch. Okay.
Probably.
I think it's one of the stupidest trade-in deals I've ever seen. And this is beyond the fact that obviously for a lot of people, if you played Splatoon 2 and you plan to play Splatoon 2 in the future, you can't trade in your Switch anyways because you can't back up your save data. So you can't trade in your Switch anyways because you're going to lose all your progress in Splatoon 2. Not just single player, multiplayer progress as well and all your ranks. So, thanks Nintendo. One of your most popular games can't back up. And guess what? If you're going to play Pokemon Pikachu avidly, you can't do it. So basically, if you haven't played Splatoon 2 and you're planning to play Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, I guess now's the time to decide what Switch is going to be my main Switch.
Yeah, right.
Because after that, you're not going to want to.
Yeah.
You're not going to want to trade it in.
Oh boy,
it's like cloud save solve some problems, but they couldn't make it solve everything for their own reasons.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny.
It is. It makes total sense for them.
Yes, I would understand if it was like, hey, if you trade in a PlayStation 4, a base PlayStation 4, a base Xbox One, or a Switch. You can get $200 credit towards a new Switch. Because then what you're just saying is, hey, trade in any current gen system for $200 towards a new Switch.
Right.
Fine. Then Switch is just kind of, it feels weird to have Switch included, but you're just like, oh, it's just an across the board thing.
Right.
And if someone they just recently got a Switch and they kind of regret it and they were hoping to get one with a theme.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. I guess this does make sense if, again, you absolutely have to have the one with the theme.
Yeah, if you're a collector.
Yes.
Of course, then again, you wouldn't sell your OG Switch anyways if you're a collector.
Probably not.
You'd want the OG Switch in the collection. That's the whole point of collecting. But even if I'm like a massive Smash Bros., massive Pokemon, massive Diablo fan, it's like, am I that massive that I am unwilling to spend $5 on a skin versus $160 just to get a themed console? And then lose save data progress along the way as well?
Do throw out, if they had a Breath of the Wild one, would you actually go for it? Damn you. I know.
I'd probably just buy it. I wouldn't trade in my Switch. Because I don't want to lose
other
my
option
Splatoon
too. Yeah, right. That's the other.
Well, what I would do is I basically my OG system would just become a Splatoon machine.
Machine.
Otherwise, I would just play everything on the other system.
Right.
Because you can actually have your account on multiple systems. You just can't play the same game at the same time on those systems. Thank you, Nintendo, for actually getting something right with your accounts.
Hey,
the fonts. Anyways, So I just think it's a weird trading deal. It's only Switches. Not just that you can trade in tours, but you can only trade in Switches. Yeah. Literally, it's all about GameStop maximizing profits this holiday. It's, give me your Switch if you really want one of these other Switches, which, the funny thing is, trade in your Switch to get the Switch.
That's the part that just sounds funny.
I'm still waiting for the selling point.
Yeah.
It would be different if they were offering like $280, but they're not going to offer $280 because then they make no money on it.
Right.
But like if they offered like $280, then it's like, well, fine, you're making $20 off. Well, they're not really making $20 off me because it's wholesale. But anyways, ridiculous. Like, what do you think they're thinking? Here, hold on. I'm the GameStop CEO.
Yes.
You are the president.
Yep.
You are trying to tell me this amazing idea that's good for consumers and good for the business. Sell this idea to me.
Hold on.
Now, granted, we know this benefits GameStop, so it's not a hard sell to the CEO.
I was going to say,
but sell it to me like you think they talked about it in that boardroom. You're the one with the idea. You're telling me how amazing this idea is. The thing is,
I don't have to. I don't care about consumers. I don't care about consumers.
But here's the thing. I don't know this. I don't even know what you're talking about. Present this idea to me.
We have people trading their Switches for new Switches.
Done!
I know, pretty much. It's who
you know what? You know what would be great too?
Yeah.
Hold on, I got an additional plan. Yeah. Let's say it only works if they also sign up for our GameStop Visa card.
Yeah, right. Right.
With 28% interest.
Yeah, right.
Heck, if consumers think that's a bad deal, we'll throw an extra $5 in on that Switch.
Yeah, right. Why not?
We'll make it up on the back end.
Yeah, right. We'll make it up on that 28%. Wait, what?
Cha-ching! All right.
They don't. That's the thing. They don't care about consumers. I mean, to a certain extent.
They care that consumers are happy enough that they keep buying from the store. But that's the way any store is, right?
And they're also hoping. They're also hoping that you don't actually think about it.
Yeah, in a lot of stores, I mean, it's not just GameStop. A lot of retailers don't really think about the consumers.
Right.
And when they do, they think about it in so much of how can they guarantee you're going to spend money there.
Right.
So it's still usually generally selfish reasons anyways.
Right.
Which that's the way it is. These companies are here to make money.
Right, exactly.
So like Walmart seems great at times, but then you hear about like what are they doing to get those prices, this and that, and you find out it's really not that great all the time. But people keep shopping there anyways, and they act like, oh, we're doing this for the consumers, and really you're just doing that to own the market. Mm-hmm. Amazon, a lot of things they do to own the market. It's all about, it seems consumer friendly, when really it's them investing in the idea of consumers being happy so they continue to lead the market in whatever they're doing or eat into the market. So you got to remember, even Nintendo, guys, these companies are all for-profit companies. These are not charities. They all are trying, like, if you think Nintendo's an angel, they're not. They are just trying to make as much money as they can, and they think they know a way to do that. In fact, I should actually skip to the last topic and then come back to the other one. Okay. Because this kind of leads into something Reggie Fils-Aimé said. I'll have you read it because this is... I've been doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, I know.
So Nintendo, this is their philosophy anyways on how they approach video game systems and stuff in the market. And he said this at the Geek Summit, which was a long time ago now, but this particular part didn't come out until like 2 days ago. So what does Reggie say? Just read it off. These are quotes from Reggie on what the philosophy is at Nintendo.
Are these multiple quotes, or is this one long quote?
It's all one long quote.
Okay, it's all one long quote. Okay. So. All right. A few days ago, Nintendo celebrated its 129th birthday. 129 years old. So this is a company that has reinvented itself constantly. Many of our speakers are talking about inventions of new companies. We reinvent ourselves every 5 to 10 years. We have to in this fast-moving entertainment business. The other piece about Nintendo is we always do things differently. It's in our DNA. Doing what other people do is just not what we believe in. The other aspect to this is that we focus on giving consumers experiences that they haven't even thought of. And so you're constantly going down this path. You create doubters. You create people who because we're not taking a traditional path, people say, it must not be right. It won't be effective. So whether it's been with the Wii back in 2006, whether it's been with our Nintendo 3DS, whether it's now with Nintendo Switch, our focus innovating, giving new experiences, and in doing so, driving our businesses forward. Lastly, this innovation focus doesn't always work, and we're the first to admit that there will always be stumbles along the way. But in the words of one of our presidents, this is Mr. Yamuchi said, "When you're doing well, don't be excited about that high-flying performance. And when you're doing poorly, don't be saddened. Always have an even keel and always focus on the next big adventure." And that's what we do.
So these words are nice. You can argue philosophical a little bit. You can argue that it means Nintendo's not allowed to be excited about anything ever because the OG president said never be excited, never be sad, just be a robot, which pretty much defines what that particular president of the company was like. He was very robotic in how he did things, which actually, unfortunately, led to a lot of Nintendo's downfall leading into Wii. But it's interesting, too, because, like, one, he openly admits that their focus is on innovating, giving new experiences, and in doing so, driving business forward. Openly admitting everything they're doing is to make money.
Oh, yeah.
And they believe they can make the most amount of money by not doing what everyone else is doing. And this is where I remember I mentioned before how Nintendo, just like everyone else, just wants to make money.
Right.
They just think they have the best path forward to do it. And some people might be like, oh, if they just make a traditional console, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you guys, that's what they thought until Wii. Wii, right now, the generation of Wii and DS put together is the most successful platform video game company, like the most successful a platform holder has ever been at any point in the entire history of video games. Like, oh, PS2 was the highest. Yeah, PS2 was the highest selling, but guess what? DS almost beat it. Plus, there was 100 million Wiis on the market at the same time.
Yeah.
Nintendo had 250 million pieces of hardware on the market. They were selling over 1 billion video games during that time. Like, 1 billion. Over 1 billion. Like, you combine the DS and the sales of, like, Wii games together. I mean, it encroaches on 2 billion. It's crazy how many games they sold there. Like, so 2 billion in sales and software. You got 250 million pieces of hardware out there. There is not a single company that's ever been that successful ever in the history of video games during any one period. And Nintendo saw that, and that's when they're like, yeah, we need to try to do that.
Yeah.
Again. Because if we had stuck with the direction we were going, or the direction PlayStation 3 and 360 took, that would have never happened.
Yeah. Maybe
the DS would have, potentially. It might have been its own side thing. But overall, that wouldn't have happened. So, it's funny, too, because he brings up whether it was with Wii, and then he brings up 3DS.
Yeah.
3DS is actually the worst-selling handheld system of all time in Nintendo's history, like mainline handheld system, the worst selling. Granted, it's astounding that we could say that considering how many units it has sold. That just lets you know how well Nintendo handhelds have sold.
Yeah,
that at the sales 3DS is at, it's actually not that impressive lined up compared to everything else. So 3DS, that's the thing. 3DS is actually a low point for their handhelds, just like Wii U at the same time was a low point for their home consoles. So like it kind of had the double whammy.
So they went from the most sold combination of consoles to just tanking, quote unquote tanking.
I mean, they were still profitable, but
right, with the Wii U and the 3DS.
So the thing is
that's crazy.
And Switch is now doing phenomenal. And for a while there, it was on pace to outdo the Wii. I don't know what the current pace is because we don't have current numbers, but when we get updated, maybe it's still on pace to outsell the Wii.
Yeah,
and that's great. But even then, even if Switch hits Wii numbers, there's not a counterpart to it that's also selling 150 million units. Nintendo's never going to see that again. They're never going to have two systems at the same time moving those kind of numbers. But I think they know that, and I think that's why they've expanded. I think that's why they're doing games on phones now, because they're looking at that as maybe being their future other gaming revenue source. And obviously they have the theme parks, and they're going to make bank off those theme parks. I'm not worried about it. It's an expensive venture now, but give it like 5-10 years, it's going to be making bank. It's going to be one of the number one attractions at Universal. So I think that this idea that he puts out there is actually exactly what Nintendo does think, both positive and negative. And again, Nintendo they innovate, or they call it innovation. The thing is, they're not doing things, like most of the time they're not doing things that haven't been done before. They're just doing it in a way that's successful. I mean, like motion control, like Wii wasn't the first thing to do motion controls. They had
Yeah.
it back on Atari, but it came at the right time, hit it the right way, and they did it the right way with Wii Sports to make it a thing.
Right.
And so it's just like Switch isn't the first hybrid system to attempt to be a home console on the go. Technically, that was PSP and then Vita, but they didn't do it well enough. Switch did. So I think that I like the philosophy. I also think this lets you know, everyone out there that keeps begging Nintendo, stop with the gimmicky systems. Go back to just making a super hardcore gamers platform. It's never happening, guys.
No.
You just heard it from Reggie Fils-Aimé himself. He just said the entire philosophy of Nintendo revolves around not doing what everyone else is doing. So guess what? If Sony and Microsoft decide to shoot for 16K on the PlayStation, which they're not going to, but if they did for on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2 or Scarlet or whatever it's called, and they're doing game streaming, well, you can guarantee Nintendo's not doing game streaming. And you can guarantee Nintendo probably won't even still have 1080p in that generation, full 1080p in every game.
Right.
Because Nintendo just doesn't care. They're going to be like, yeah, we don't have that, but you can play it anywhere. It's a good argument.
It is.
I love the early arguments from like, when Doom and like Wolfenstein 2 came out, so people said like all the naysayers that were bashing on the games, right? Because because they're just lower FPS, lower resolution, blah blah blah, and they at times look kind of blurry, and all the times that people said you can't use the excuse because it's portable. It's not a viable excuse for a crappy port, and it's like, all right, that's cool. Well, you know what? You think that. And when I'm on the airplane playing Doom and Wolfenstein 2, and you can't play the games because you can't play your PlayStation 4 and your Xbox One on the plane, who's having more fun in that moment right there?
Right.
You might have more fun when you're sitting in front of your TV, but guess what? I'm sitting on the shitter and I'm having fun. Like,
dang straight.
Like, to say that portability is not a viable excuse or not a viable reason to think it's okay, it's like, it is, because the hardware isn't as powerful as those systems. So I'd rather have the games at those reduced visuals and at that reduced frame rate and be able to play it anywhere. And so it's just a diatribe of things here where I like what Nintendo's messaging is. This is pretty much what everyone figured. It's kind of on point with stuff they said in the past, for innovation and trying new things. Well, I mean, this is the first time they admitted that not everything works.
Right.
They've never come out and said sometimes it doesn't work. So that was interesting. I thought that point was like admitting, hey, we don't always get it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a self-aware Nintendo now.
Oh, wait, what? Is Nintendo growing up?
Nintendo,
it is 129 years old. They figured it'd be self-aware by now.
Here's the thing. A lot of the things that, for people that don't know, a lot of the things at Nintendo that seem archaic is not because of Nintendo of America. Yeah. It's because Nintendo of Japan, like why do we have voice chat on our phones without an option to have it locally? Because Nintendo doesn't care about anything outside of Japan when they're thinking of this stuff. Yeah. So everyone in Japan will use it, so who cares?
You're right.
Not all of us in the United States. Like the argument was, well, your phone's on you anyways. You might as well voice chat through it when you're on the go. Well, we don't have internet everywhere in the U.S. when we're on the go. Yeah. Our buses and trains, they don't all have internet. We're like in Japan, everywhere you go, it's pretty much impossible to go anywhere without a Wi-Fi signal that's free.
It's also a heck of a lot smaller.
Well, yeah.
The island.
But that's what I'm saying. Like their infrastructure is different, where they're just thinking about that. They don't think about, United States, we have hours and hours commutes and 4-hour plane flights, and sometimes we just don't got the damn internet, so the voice chat on our phone means absolutely nothing unless we're at home.
Yeah, right.
And if we're at home, why the hell would we want to use it through our phone? Right. As cool as it is, and like Mario Kart, there's lobbies, and like I remember, the voice chat's not that bad because the Mario Kart 8 lobbies are like that can exist without it being on your phone. It doesn't have to be on your phone for the lobbies to be there and be awesome.
Yep.
Then again, that would require them to allow us to use Bluetooth.
But then again, that also falls in line with the doing what other people do is just not what we believe in.
Hey, Nintendo, you're charging for online. The one thing you had right. Yeah. The one thing people praised you for not doing that everyone else was doing. Yes. What is cheaper? Yes. It doesn't make.
It doesn't. Yeah. No.
I'm not. Everyone else is doing it makes sense.
Wait.
Everyone else is doing Virtual Console good and doing it well and doing it better than you. Yeah. So screw it, you're done.
Yeah, we're not going to do it. We're done. Or we're going to do it.
We're abandoning it. We're just going to be like, hey, you know what? We're going to do a subscription model for it as well. But you want all the classic games? We'll give you 20 NES games with 3 new a month. Have a good day.
Yeah. Right.
Because for the 50th time we've had to play them and pay for them.
That part right there, it's just like, I get it. wanting to try to make something
Yeah.
better.
It's here's the thing.
But
what I get out of this quote is we want to do things different to do things different.
yes,
And that's never, to me, that's never a good reason.
no, it's not. You should at least have it to a point where you know it works. So do it something similar, and then if you see holes in that, in what could be
Advance
improved,
what's happening in
exactly.
the medium.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I think Switch is brilliant.
Yes.
And maybe Wii U needed to happen for Switch to be a thing. I don't know. But what I do know is whoever the hell came up with Wii U, no. And I liked Wii U at the time, but it's like, but no. You marketed it as a hardcore gamers platform. You said, this is the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, everyone was asking for from us.
Yeah.
Sure, at a time when PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were coming out.
Yeah.
So nobody was asking for you to do that. They were asking for you to do Wii HD and have a 360/Xbox One compatible system a few years earlier.
Yeah.
And have all of your Wii games be upgraded to HD. That was a thing that was being asked. Nobody asked for Wii U.
Right.
That's not a hardcore gamers platform, even if you want to tell it as. That unprecedented partnership obviously went nowhere for whatever reason. Here's the thing. I'm not faulting Reggie here. He's just he's repeating the company line. Yeah. He's open. He's being honest, and I applaud him for being honest. It's just it's an attitude that I just find. Basically, we're gonna do whatever the hell we feel like doing because we feel like doing until we make a crap load of money. Mm-hmm. And then when we make a crap load of money, we're just going to keep experimenting until we can make a crap load of money again.
Yes.
And it's a strategy for Nintendo that does work.
Yes.
It's a strategy that has led to their company being the single most profitable platform holder in gaming history. And it's not just because of how long they've been in the industry.
Yeah.
It's because even when PlayStation 4 is doing these crazy numbers, guess how much profit Switch is making along the way now? With over 1,000 games on the platform and moving the units as fast as it is. And by the way, every unit of Switch sold at a profit, whereas not all the units of PlayStation 4 sell at a profit. So it's Nintendo's way of doing things is we're going to make money at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to release a platform that's like PlayStation 4, that's like Xbox One, because they feel, leading up to GameCube, that they're just not as good at it as they are. Mm-hmm. And Nintendo knows it. Nintendo knows they are not as good at making those traditional consoles as everybody else. So for them, it makes them way less money to chase that.
Right. For sure.
So instead, they want to hit on something that people didn't even know they wanted till they had it.
Right.
I would say they've done that successfully 3 times.
Giving consumers that they haven't even thought of.
Yeah. They've done it successfully 3 times. Wii, obviously. DS, no one was thinking 2 screens. Plus touch, like that was before touch blew up when it originally came out. Yeah. Before smartphones. So, okay, so they hit on those 2 ideas, and then they didn't really hit it until Switch, which is fine. I mean, it's only a generation in between, right? 3DS, Wii, and Wii U. But I mean, we'll have to see if it keeps hitting moving forward. The thing is what happens when. I think the frustrating part about this strategy is it also means when you hear that, well, okay, so I love the hybrid system. I love the hybrid Switch. I love hybrid. This is awesome. This is what I want for the rest of my life as a gaming platform. Not this particular system, but advancements of this idea from Nintendo. But when you read this, it's like, but you know Switch is this concept's numbered until they move on to a totally different, completely different thing.
And you hope that one's all of a sudden, wait, I didn't think about this. I want this more than the Switch. How is this possible?
Yeah, so
that's what you just got to hope for.
Yeah, it's a mess, but it's a mess with a company that somehow keeps holding my interest because they keep when they hit, it's almost magical. Even if you didn't like Wii, there were so many great things that came out of that Wii generation. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. This isn't directly from Nintendo, but if you've never played Red Steel 2, you are missing out on maybe one of the best games of that entire generation. That's how good it is. And if you played Red Steel 1 and you're like, no, wait, Red Steel 1 is a hot, steaming pile of garbage. But it needed to exist to get to Red Steel 2. So Red Steel 2 is amazing. And there's a whole bunch of games from that generation, Super Mario Galaxy and all that stuff, that are just, they're games you should play at one point in your life. And we wouldn't have had those necessarily without Wii. So, just like we wouldn't have had certain games without DS. So, I actually like when Nintendo does this. I like that Nintendo's different. And as much as I'm going to be sad whenever the Switch era ends and we're no longer looking at a hybrid, we're looking at Maybe it's VR glasses or whatever they decide they're going to do. Whatever's next. I don't know what's next. Nobody knows till Nintendo does it. It's going to be sad, but I just hope that I really like the next product too.
Mm-hmm.
See, I enjoyed Wii U, and I enjoyed 3DS, but I also really love Nintendo games, and that's ultimately why I buy platforms, right? For the games. So as long as I'm enjoying the games, I'll just put up with whatever deficiencies a platform has, right? And the thing is, I don't really consider the Switch overall as a deficient platform. I know a lot of Switch naysayers look at it as a deficient platform because it's not as powerful and blah blah blah. And it's like, but I don't expect it to be. Not when it's something I hold in my hands. I do not expect that to be a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. What I expect it to be is passable console level games anywhere the hell I want to be. Mm-hmm. And that's what we get. Sometimes we get way more than passable, especially from Nintendo. But Nintendo games have a history of being usually excellent. Not always. I know some people aren't into Super Mario Party. Some people are. Some people aren't into Aces. Some are. Some aren't into Kirby. Some are. But, I mean, some are into Breath of the Wild and some aren't. I don't know who you are. If you are, you should probably go walk off a cliff and get yourself checked after you land on the ground if you're still alive for mental disabilities. Not from the fall, but from the reason you walked off the cliff in the first place.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
That took a turn real
quick.
Quick.
It did. I don't know where I was going with that one, to be honest. I just kept going. It just felt right.
It
just felt right.
Yeah, why not?
You know what?
That, yeah.
So, like, before we get to our final topic, so Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it. Why are you angry it came out? You mad it's not on Switch?
Yes. I'm mad
well,
it's not
good.
on
That's
Switch.
actually related to the next topic.
Okay.
That's one reason why I'm talking about it. It's a nice segue for the next topic.
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption 2. This is something that is not something I usually talk about on the channel because it's got nothing to do with Nintendo. But an interesting fact, right now, the Xbox One version in particular, probably because the Xbox One X version is actually the best version of the game, right now is sitting at a 98 on Metacritic. That would make it the highest rated video game in over a decade. And guys, we just had 297s last year from Nintendo.
Yeah.
That means it's beating out Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey for best game of this generation. Easily. Wow. Well, not easily. Yeah. It's 1.0. Oh. But yeah. And the PlayStation 4 version's at a 97, so it's not like that's
right.
lagging behind or anything.
Right.
It's just the Xbox One X version is just that slightly bit better, and it's showing in the review scores. Crazy.
That is nuts.
Like, I'm not like the biggest Red Dead Redemption fan just because I never played the original. And I know it's like blasphemy to say I didn't play the original because I heard it's so good.
It is.
And I would love to see a port of it to Switch. But, man, I almost feel like this is the game that's going to make me buy X this holiday. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of games on PlayStation 4 and other systems like I really want to play. But this almost feels like this is a game you don't miss. This is like one of those you have to play games.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, Rockstar. Now, as for why this game isn't on Switch, no, it's not because of visuals. Although we're talking about Rockstar here, so maybe it is. But the reason that this game will probably never be on Switch is actually because of what a completely different company said. So this guy that works at, he's like the game director of Elder Scrolls Online at Bethesda. Bethesda's been supporting Switch pretty good, not with everything, but more than most third-party companies. We know we're getting Doom Eternal coming up, and that's a brand new game, supposedly getting a day-and-day release date. Awesome. The thing is, they said that Elder Scrolls Online will never come to Switch. He really wants it to be on Switch. He would love to have it on Switch. But it's not because it can't run. It's not because the Switch is incapable of handling the game. It's because the Switch is incapable of actually storing the game. What do I mean? The Elder Scrolls Online is like a 90 gigabyte game.
True.
Now, it's an MMO. MMOs are usually pretty large anyways.
Right.
And it's just going to keep bigger. The more updates, more content they add. That's just how MMOs go. They get bigger.
Right.
But because of how big it is, he says it's just not feasible to bring it to Switch. Not impossible, of course. There's micro SD cards you can fit it on and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but it's just not practical for Switch. And this brings up a larger issue with Switch of storage. We talked about storage last year, but how we would like to see the Switch maybe have some more internal storage, at least enough to fit every single game without having to buy, like at least every single game in terms of that game on its own digitally fits internally on the Switch, even if you can't fit anything else. just so basically when you buy a Switch, you have everything you need to play any game you also bought with your Switch right then.
Yeah.
Even if, later you need to get a micro SD card. But my thing is with this is I don't know that there is a solution to this, and Red Dead Redemption is 100 gigs on PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
So of course Red Dead Redemption is huge. That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be smaller if it was brought to Switch. Maybe they could even knock it down to 60 gigs, or whatever. Something that's more reasonable.
Yeah.
It's still that's a lot on Switch. 60.
Yes, it is.
They don't even have carts that can cover that yet. And if they did, it's not like Rockstar would use the carts anyways, because you know how ungodly expensive the 64 gig carts are going to be if they ever come out. Nintendo said they're working on them, but who the hell is going to use them? It's not going to be Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't even really need to use 32 gig carts yet for any of their games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they are working. Maybe Smash Bros. Will be the game that ends up using that big. We don't know the file size on Smash Bros. Yet.
Mm-hmm.
But man, what solution is there? The obvious solution is game streaming. It's fine. Game stream.
Yeah.
You don't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
But setting that aside, because that doesn't actually solve the problem, that's just avoiding the problem.
Yeah.
What is is there even a realistic solution? I don't want to say it yet. Can you think of a realistic solution that fixes this problem? Besides just saying, I got to put the caveat, just optimize and bring your game sizes down. Okay, fine.
There is that, yes.
You can talk about that all you want. Yeah. But games as they are today are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Switch isn't really capable of handling that.
Right.
So is there a way they could solve it? Even if it takes a hardware revision. Not
unless we can find some better ways to compress files. I mean, if we can find better ways to compress files.
Well, I mean, that just solves the problem on the whole for everyone then.
Right.
But that's not going to happen. I mean, there's better ways to compress files than are being done. Some games can be compressed more than they are. But the Switch is in a tough spot.
Right.
It just is.
I don't know.
Someone came up with a brilliant idea, by the way. When I made my video on this, it wasn't someone. I think there was 2 or 3 people that came up with this idea. I don't know if they read each other's comments on it, but one thing that's actually very interesting that it doesn't solve the problem, but it makes it more tolerable. Mm-hmm. Is what if a future iteration of Switch let you run multiple micro SD cards at the same time? It's already possible. It's not like it's a technological impossibility.
Right.
It can already be done. It's done in other devices.
Right.
And what that would allow you to do then is, sure, a game might fill up one whole micro SD card, but instead of having to swap that out to play your other games, you could just have them in there and just run it in RAID 0 or whatever and just call it good.
Yeah.
Plus, if you think about that, when the sales happen on those 400 gig cards, you can have 2 of those in there and have almost a terabyte of storage.
That would be nice.
That would be sick. That would pretty much solve everything.
Yeah.
Then again, you're spending $200 extra, but you would never need to purchase storage again for the platform.
Yeah.
Obviously, if every big game in the world comes on the platform, that's a thing. And you can archive the games, but archiving the games isn't the same as solving the problem.
Right.
Because you still have to re-download the game when you want to play it.
Right.
So I think outside of that and game streaming, I don't know if there is a solution. Because basically, we need... You could say Nintendo should put more memory on Switch. Fine. Yeah. Storage should maybe be double at what it is at least.
Yeah.
But the more they add, the more expensive the Switch goes.
Right.
And this isn't micro SD storage. Everyone's like, oh, it can't be that bad. I mean, if I could buy a 128, card for $20, then, what, are they going to add just $20 of the Switch's price to make it 128? I'm like, no, because the memory they're using inside is better than your micro SD card. Mm-hmm. So, no, it's going to be like $100 more. You're talking about a $400 Switch versus a $300.
I mean, what is the internal card right now?
What? It's not a card.
It's not a card?
No.
You can just expand it with a card.
Yeah, it's like a phone. You can add phones have their internal memory, and your internal memory in your phone's better than what's on a micro SD card. Right. Yeah. For purposes of videos and stuff like that, it doesn't really matter. But purposes of games, it makes a difference because technically the games load faster off the internal memory than they do off the cartridges. Right. But that's neither here nor there. I like the micro SD card slot. The problem is we need card sizes that are cheap and big. And that doesn't go together. No. The bigger the sizes they get, the more expensive things get. Yes. The older sizes get a little cheaper. But, I mean, we need a terabyte card in there. Yeah. And that's going to cost like $500.
Yeah.
If not more. When they come out, they don't even exist yet. So, I mean, they don't exist for public purchasing yet. There's
Yeah.
some experimental ones
Yeah.
out there. It's
nuts.
the thing is, it'll eventually be affordable. Eventually, you'll probably be able to pick up a terabyte micro SD card in, say, 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah, probably something along the lines of that.
And be able to pick one up for $100, something like that. Like something that just sounds crazy today. But that's because by then we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 terabytes. Like once they get to the terabyte realm, I think it's really either going to explode because that's what kind of happened with hard drives in the past is you hit that terabyte and then it just exploded from there. Or we're going to hit silicone limits and we're going to come up with a new format.
Yeah.
That's probably the more likely thing. Just like, we started with thumb drives and then moved to SSDs and now M.2s and all these different, because like we had to come up with different ways of doing it to make things faster, more efficient, and add more storage. So I think that's going to happen. There's going to be a limit. I think they said they're pretty sure micro SD cards can hit 2 terabytes, but they, beyond that, we don't really know. And Switch actually would support if 2 terabytes ever came out, because it supports up to 2 terabytes. I don't know. I don't think there's an easy answer to this because we could talk about all the solutions, make game files smaller, and use game streaming or dual SIMs, or it's not really dual SIMs, but it's dual micro SD card slots, and like we could talk about all this stuff. But bottom line is, video games are going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if we want these big AAA games that are 60 plus gigs, the Switch needs a more viable way to deal with it. And I mean, we didn't mention external hard drives,
and it also though, too, is it? And this is going to be interesting though. Would it be time to go back to an actual disc versus carts?
Why?
Because you can fit more on the disc.
But you still have to install it. The disc medium is now too slow to keep up with modern games for read speeds. Ergo, that's why Xbox and PlayStation are now like PCs where you have to install because the read speeds aren't fast enough to keep up with the games. The reason Nintendo doesn't have to do that is because the cartridges have a lot faster read speeds because they're basically flash. I mean, there's wide variants of flash memory read speeds.
Right.
But the read speeds are significantly faster than discs. So the thing is, yeah, great, we can get the whole game on a disc, instead of having to download it. But what's the difference if you have to install it?
Right.
And I always say this to people that say, that make fun of the Switch for its carts and, haha, you can't even get the full game on your cart. I'm like, you have to install the game on your system anyways.
Yeah,
what's the difference if you have to download the install or if you have to get it off the disc?
You're right,
The only difference is, obviously, if it's entirely on the disc, if they ever take it down offline, you can always still play the game, right? Like, that's obviously the big difference, but that's just the difference between physical and digital. The bottom line is, for convenience for consumers, discs are not convenient. They're the most inconvenient medium there is in video games right now. There's a reason a lot of laptops and PCs don't even come with disk drives anymore. It's just an inconvenience. And the fact that we're to the point that installs are happening tells me we're also to the point that within 15 years, whatever, PlayStation 6 or whatever it is, probably won't even have a disc reader.
Right.
It'll just be done. It'll be done. It'll all be digital.
And at what point in time do we even call these like gaming machines when we start calling them basically PCs?
I think it's always going to be it not called PC. Like, they're using PC architecture already, but I think it's always going to stick with gaming consoles because it's always going to be it's something that is for gaming only. PCs are all about multitasking. Yeah, you might build a gaming PC, but you can do your schoolwork on there. You can browse the internet. And you could do some of that stuff on these systems, but it's really not that great of an experience. It's just like, it's there, but you're not doing your homework on this thing. You're not that's not what it's made for. It's just catered to gaming. That's always been the one thing consoles have is usually they're catered to gaming. So the hardware, even while lower spec than say a gaming PC, could still get more performance out of it because it's focused more towards gaming.
Right.
So I think, for me anyways, there's nothing that can really be done at this point. This has to be the way Switch is now. I think they just have to take the L on this. I'm not blaming Nintendo. They made a portable home console hybrid system with tablet hardware. Bottom line is there was always going to be sacrifices going that direction, and one of the sacrifices is you're not going to have the 500, 1 terabyte plus storage you need. The ability to use an external hard drive would be nice, but that doesn't help you once you undock your system.
Yeah, you're in portable.
And someone mentioned like, oh, but there's USB-C, hard drives out there now. I'm like, yeah, no one's hanging that off their damn thing, walking around, knowing that they're one bump away from all of their data falling off and being, getting ran over by a car or whatever. Like, no one, that's unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I mean, to be fair, I also think it's unrealistic that Apple and other companies are getting rid of headphone jacks and expect you to use dongles just to have headphones.
Yeah.
But, that's the thing that's happening.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
and this is Nintendo, so, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised there even is a headphone jack
Yeah,
on
right.
the Switch. Oh.
Well, it's not like you use it.
I mean, I've used it for headphones, but I mean, that's pretty much all you can use it for. And it was to watch Hulu. Oh, hey! Where's my Netflix?
Yeah, right.
So I don't like. I just
Yeah. I don't know. It's a kind of a shardy thing.
it is, and I'm not mad at Nintendo about it. This is just the reality of a platform like this.
Yeah.
Now that being said, hey SanDisk, if you would like to sponsor a video, I'll gladly take one of your new 512s for review purposes, of course.
Well, yeah. I'll take one too.
As long as I get to keep it. In fact, why don't you just send me one of every size?
Yeah, there you
can
go.
do an awesome comparison test, huh?
There you go.
That way I don't have to spend like $1,000 to have everything, so I can test it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I may or may not have gotten this idea directly from a Wolf Den video where he bought them himself and did comparisons.
Oh, there
In
you
fact,
go.
wait, hold on. He did SanDisk ones.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Any other company that's not
there you go,
SanDisk
there you go.
that has micro SD
I mean, if SanDisk wants to send you one, that's fine. But
I mean, SanDisk. I'm gonna say.
Right.
I mean, you want to prove how much better you are.
Yeah.
It's fine, but
yeah.
if
If you want to send me one of yours and one of somebody else's,
Samsung, you want to get in on this?
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Let's have a showdown.
Yeah.
Just send me them. I want free products. I want them so bad. It'd be such good content.
God, stop e-bagging.
We'd have to get our switches set up.
Yeah, right.
You'd have one in one,
Yeah,
you'd have one in the other. We'd go and be like, so the speed, load time is within a millisecond of each other. That's cool.
We can't visibly discern it.
There's really not a difference.
Yeah.
We found out from the Wolf Den's, or I found out anyways from the
Yeah.
Wolf Den's video on it that, Bob, the Switch is capped.
Oh, fantastic.
What are we surprised the
No.
Switch is capped at the read and write speeds
No.
from a micro SD card? It's capped. So you can get one that has like 275, read speed or whatever. It doesn't matter. The Switch is only going to read it at 95, 96 because that's what it's capped at. So it's like, it doesn't matter if you get the El Cheapos or you get the expensive ones. They're pretty much
As long as it's
like a legit
the
brand, a legit branded one, not one that's lying to you about the size. A legit branded one, like, it doesn't matter. Like they talked about, it matters if you get the UH1 versus the UH3. The Switch is capped. It doesn't matter. Nothing. It doesn't matter.
As long as you hit either that max read speed or just slightly over. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, there are ones that are under 96, but even then, I put one of those in mine, and I saw the speeds hit like 90 plus anyways. So it's like,
they just upped the read speed. Interesting.
I don't know. Is it an overclocked?
Sure,
have you ever heard of an overclocked micro SD card? Is that even possible?
I don't know. Apparently,
It's like my laptop. It just hacks into everything.
Yeah,
I can access. Dude, there's a fun story.
Yeah.
When my laptop was working, maybe this is why it's fried.
Yeah, right.
I think it was the lightning. Really, it was just trying to hack.
Yeah, right.
Put it this way: my laptop could access any Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, right.
Without knowing the password.
Yeah.
I literally would just click on it, hit enter on the password field, and it would just give me access.
Yeah. We did that at the hotel. And
I've done it. I did it at like 6 different hotels, which, granted, some hotels, they just have open access anyways.
Yeah.
But I've done
did that out in LA.
I've done it to neighbors' internet. I did it to, where was I? Oh, the last time I did it was someone had fiber.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, let me give you some of this. And he's like, no, because he it was no public. It was a business line at like, I wasn't at the Verizon store or AT&T, I think it was, that had the fiber line in there because they were advertising it. But there was like a restaurant next door I was at, and I took it off. I'm like, AT&T fiber.
Huh.
Click. I'm in.
It was nuts.
Said it was passworded.
It was nuts.
I'm in.
It was nuts.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no explanation for it.
Yeah.
I know things about computers and coding. This is not technologically possible.
Yeah, right.
shouldn't be.
No.
But my Wi-Fi card just says, screw it.
Yeah,
We know how to act like you're pressing the button on the router to give me access. The Wi-Fi card's fried on.
Oh.
So trust
Have
me,
you tried it?
that's something I thought I would take out, put into my little laptop.
Yeah.
Is if I could desolder the Wi-Fi chip and put, but no.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. Sad day.
I still don't know how to.
I know, right?
Here's the thing: I can't prove it to you. I don't have it on video,
Right.
and the computer's dead. So
Right. And
you don't have to believe me on it. It's fine.
I've seen it firsthand. And again, you don't have to believe me either, but I've actually seen it firsthand.
I don't even know if I knew my own Wi-Fi password back then.
Yeah, right.
Because I
Right.
didn't need to
I mean,
know it.
I remember sitting down in LA the first time we went to E3, and all of a sudden I was like,
yeah, here's your Wi-Fi password in your card. I go to connect.
this isn't fat. And then
There was no approval screen.
Yep.
There was no password. I'm just
Yep. Yep.
And you're just like, that's weird. Then you go to connect. Nope, approval screen, password.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
what?
me.
Yeah, right.
And no, I haven't been here before.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
It was nuts.
good times. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up here for the Nintendo Prime Podcast this week, episode 84. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we do have a guest on. One of our $20 Patreon backers will be on. Goes by 243. I don't know, something like that. They'll be on. They were actually on the podcast last month, so they're coming on again. Good times. They are one of our $20 backers on Patreon because for $20 a month on patreon.com/Nintendo Prime, you can be on a podcast. $10 a month, you get to watch it live with all of our green screen glory and bloopers and weird phone calls. And if my pants fell down for some reason and my channel's banned, I'm just pulling an Etika but doing real life.
There you go.
Too soon? Too soon? I'm sorry. Is that too soon? I know Etika's actually got some real problems going on, man. I hope if I doubt you listen to anything I do, but I hope you're getting the help you need and doing what you need to do to get your life together. But I gotta say, if that wasn't a hack and he took down his own, for those who don't know, Etika nuked his channel basically by putting porn on it. I gotta say, only Etika. If this isn't like he got hacked, like he did it on purpose, only Etika would just go down in a.
If you're gonna go down in a ball of fire.
Yeah, just a ball of fire. Just you don't say screw it. You're getting mad at me about the N-word that he was saying on Twitter when Twitter banned him? Yeah. What are you gonna do about me now, you two?
Screw it, which is literally what they were doing. Hey,
bad times.
All right.
Bad times.
All right.
By the way, you can check out our podcast on iTunes. We are available there. If you just look up the Nintendo Prime podcast through iTunes, it'll pop up. You can look through it on Google Play as well. It's also available at NintendoPrime.net. It's the only place that every episode is available. We don't have any single channel. We don't have any single place where we have the audio uploaded anywhere but NintendoPrime.net that has every episode from 1 through 84. It actually took quite a while to make that happen because the files were all over the place. Our early days at Nintendo Prime were kind of wild. But here we are today at almost at 39,000 subscribers. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for all of your support, just watching. If you have been checking out this podcast, I probably should have said it at the beginning, but I'll say it now. If you made it to the end and you're on the YouTube version, please hit that like button. I've discovered through my MCN that as of like a month ago or so, Google has changed their algorithm up to where, or YouTube, I should say, same company.
Yeah.
They changed their algorithm up to where the number of likes your video get determines how many of your own subscribers they are going to send notifications to. It's technically always been part of that algorithm since they started limiting how many notifications go out, but now it weighs heavily. So basically, if we have like our last podcast had 900 viewers, and all 900 viewers of it hit that like button, it would have got sent out to like an additional 5,000 people. That's life. So I'm going to just mention it now. Obviously, if you didn't like the podcast and you want to hit the dislike button, you can. It doesn't really give me any feedback to do that. I'd rather you leave a comment and tell me what you didn't like about it, what you think we can do better.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, just coming in and just saying, look at that fat bastard. Like that's not constructive. I know I'm fat. Thanks for stating facts. And I'm technically a bastard, and I don't know how you knew that. How do you know my family history?
Well, I do, but
I'm a fat bastard. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys for episode 85 next week.